Okay, so since we did not get a chance to go speak to the man himself, we're just making a quick little video on our debt-free journey and celebrating the fact that we are debt-free after 9 hard, long months.
Almost a year.
In those 9 months, we have paid off $33,241, which included a car loan, student loan, personal loan, credit cards, iPhones, watches, you name it, it was in there. Okay, so what started the journey 9 months ago actually goes back a little bit further than that. My younger sister, shout out Karina,
My sis-in-law.
she actually gave me the Financial Peace DVDs years ago and said, this Dave Ramsey guy, went to his class, it's really good, you should check it out. And I was like, no, I'm older, I'm wiser, I have a good credit score, I financed a car on my own, I know what I'm doing, I know.
I thought it was a get-rich scheme, like a guy who was just trying to sell me how to get $1 million in
2 minutes.
In 1, 2, 3. And I just, his face on a cover kind of looks cheesy, he's all smiling, and he just looks like this,
So
person.
pretty much we tossed the DVDs.
Yeah.
And I think I even lied to her years ago and said, yeah, I watched it. And I really didn't. I never watched it. Fast forward a few years later, we moved to Lincoln and I started going back to school, and we're a 4-people family living on one income, and our budget starts to get really tight and our car loan starts to feel a lot heavier than it did when we had 2 incomes. So right away I was freaked out, I was panicked, I didn't know how we were going to make the car payments now on a 1-income family. So I was thinking maybe we had an income problem. I was thinking maybe we didn't make enough. And then Mario over here turned 26 and had to renew his license. And
25.
Or 25. He was turned 25. And so we had to print off our bank statements, which I hadn't done in years because you normally just click online.
You're right,
yeah,
26.
I know that, Mario. I already know that.
Okay.
And he said 25, trying to be young.
I was like, wait a minute, you're right, it was 26. Okay, yep, go ahead.
And so I printed out our bank statements, and I noticed that there was a pretty good amount coming in every month into the bank statements. I had to print them for address verification. And so then I was thinking maybe that was just those recent 2 months. But I kept pulling, and it turns out that number was pretty consistent over the last few months, and we had been making a pretty good, decent income, and I had no clue where anything was going. Now, at this point, I had accounting and finance background, so I thought I was really good with money, but it started to panic me when there was a decent amount of money coming in, and I don't have enough to make my car payment. So all of a sudden, really, I don't know how it happened because I hadn't thought of Dave Ramsey since years ago, never looked into his philosophy, never looked into who he was, never cared who he was. All of a sudden, that name just came at me, just Dave Ramsey. So I put on his podcast and I listened to it all day. I was addicted.
I remember those
and
days.
This was actually June 3rd that I brought it up to Mario and told him that I've been listening to this Dave Ramsey guy all day, and he is so correct in everything that he's teaching. I want to be out of debt. I want to build a great foundation. I want to stop doing stupid and start having a little bit more common sense when it comes to money. And Mario, I don't remember if maybe you were so sick and tired of being sick and tired that the same second he's like, yes. So the keys to getting out of debt for me would be setting the tone right away. So we made this decision together July 3rd, and at that point we hadn't cut up the credit cards. We just decided to be on the same page and follow the baby steps. The very next day, not even 24 hours, we were hit with July 4th, our anniversary, and just a very fun special holiday.
Our first anniversary, by the way.
Our first marriage anniversary. And we were only 24 hours in, so we hadn't chopped up the credit cards, so we still had them if we wanted to do one little one little dinner, one little sushi, one little getaway, one little trip. And we didn't have kids that night, so we could have splurged a little bit. And we really had to say no to ourselves within 24 hours of making this decision. And I think that really helped say no to everything else that came our way when it wasn't important, when it wasn't going to lead us towards debt freedom. I think it was easier to say no later because we said it earlier.
Yeah.
What would you say the keys to getting out of debt are?
Well, honestly, for me, really, I'm just being honest here with you. Right?
Well, be honest. You're on live.
I thought it was crazy. I thought it was really crazy. You showed me those debt-free screen videos July 3rd, and it was amazing seeing those videos. And knowing that the next day was our first anniversary, I really wanted to take you out for sushi. I was actually going to buy you a big thing of roses, like a bouquet of like roses. And since the kids were with grandma and grandpa, I was going to take you to the park. And I love July 4th. Matter of fact, I asked her out on July 4th for a reason. We dated that day. And I love it for a reason because of, fireworks. It's just it's one of my favorite holidays. So I wanted to make it super, super special, especially for our first day, our first year on that day being married. And I wanted to just really go all out, but I didn't have the cash to do it. And I was going to put it all on a credit card, unfortunately.
And we definitely had a lot of credit cards to put it on, but we didn't. So I would say just saying no early on is going to lead to a lot more no's later. And now that we're debt free, I don't regret. I wouldn't miss that anniversary dinner because, I
don't regret it.
At the end of the day, I would have forgotten about that dinner.
Well, I'll never forget about it. Because you know what she made me do? We live in a 1-bedroom apartment. We sat in this little living room. It was so depressing. And we hit the ground running. This is how you know how we did this. We didn't even watch like a cool movie. We just like put some weird show on Netflix. It was depressing. We sat there and cried. Like emotionally. It was hard. It was really hard. I'll never forget that. And she just whipped up some like pre-made beans, threw them in some like old tortilla and made some burritos. And because we like didn't want to spend money, we didn't want to go and spend money just because it wasn't the right. We wanted to hit. We were super emotionally affected by the big picture when we rounded up all our debt. We're like, wow, we cannot continue to fund this habit, this problem. And so I felt the same way. And so we just sat here, ate some bean burritos. I had to like put ketchup in it to make it tasteful. And we're inside, and through the night the fireworks were firing, and it was just like, why are we in here? It was so depressing. It hurt, and I kept telling her, and I was like, we could be out there enjoying it, living it, and you worry about it,
charging it all and worrying about it later.
Yeah, and it was harsh.
And so hard. That was a good way to start our debt-free journey. And then the other thing is there was 2 type of days that I had during our debt-free journey. I had one day where I felt like nothing could stop me. Oh my goodness, I have an end date. If I keep at it, I will be done. And at this date, this time, no more debt. I could see it. And then there were the other days that were like, oh my goodness, I have sacrificed, I have said no, and I still have so much to go. I'm never going to get there. And so on those 2 different type of days, it was just important to keep going, keep believing, keep tuned into everybody else who's doing the same thing, and just keep going at it no matter what.
Yeah, it was like climbing a mountain. You're climbing this mountain, and you know exactly where you want to be, and you get tired on your way to climbing this mountain, and you get discouraged, and you look down, and you say, maybe I should just go back down. But by that point, you're far in, and you're like, no, we got to keep moving forward, and you almost just got to walk by faith and just take it one day at a time. It does hurt. It's emotionally impactful, and I think that's the beauty of this plan, is that it takes you through a phase financially, emotionally, and physically, that it just instills you what it means to be in debt, like how that feels, and what it really is, the kind of position you're in. And yeah, just it was harsh, but it definitely it evolves you, it changes you, and I'm definitely I feel cleansed, I feel shedded off of all the craziness that I've been taught about credit, and I feel we're free. We're just out here just doing it. Like, I feel like we did it. It's done. We know the plan, and it's not just like it's just not this baby step number 2 and that's it. I mean, we're gonna continue doing this to keep us moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next question here is, what was the hardest thing about the debt-free journey? For me, it would be there's a few little things that felt so important and so dramatic at the time. Like, for one, is our family has this ritual of going to the state fair every single year and getting caricatures done of all 4 of us. And every year we have one, so you'll see as it transitions to us two and our boy, to us 2 and our girl, and our baby girl growing. And so the state fair was just a month after we decided yes to our debt-free journey, and we would have had to travel, would have had to pay for food, would have had to pay for entertainment there at the state fair. And so we just said no and didn't delay it. We just didn't go.
Yeah. Well, we get to go this year.
At the time, though, it was so dramatic, and it was so hard to be like,
harsh.
we want that caricature,
yeah, but
and
we're gonna
we want
keep
it this year.
We're gonna keep it going, but
and
we'll take a picture. You'll see a gap in one caricature in one year where it's just not missing, but we're gonna fill it in with that was the year we changed our family tree. And then we're going to continue it going, because we want it to go until like 18 or as long as we can go. It's just going to be a wall full of every year, a caricature of every year. So
yeah, so that at the time, though, it just feels so dramatic.
Yeah.
The other hard thing was just taking your sandwich and your leftover food to work every single day, but kind of watching everybody else eat either fast food or some restaurant leftovers from the night before, and so that was kind of rough.
It turned into a healthy change because we've gone into a habit of just taking our food, and since we control what we take, we also learn to control exactly what we cook, and we've actually done pretty good.
The other thing too that I sacrificed, which was hard for me from a nutrition standpoint, is a fancy gym membership. So I got the simple apartment gym going on, and that's gonna have to work. I cut my pre-workout, which I was addicted to. But that was taking up $40 a month, and so I just cut it out. I cut out buying new gym clothes. I cut out everything that wasn't necessary. If it wasn't food, shelter, transportation, it was out the door.
Yeah.
I don't even think I got a haircut for all of those 9 months, so it was definitely a lot of sacrifice.
I sacrificed Apple Music. I work next to a Scooters, so I sacrificed walking over to Scooters and getting a cup of Joe.
Which right now seems so funny, so silly, so easy to say, oh, I didn't get coffee. But when all your coworkers are walking over and they come back with their delicious looking Scooters cup, and you're just sitting there with your homemade leftover coffee.
Yeah.
kind of hurts, but we've definitely pushed past it. And then next question. Did we have any motivators or detractors? And for me, biggest motivator would probably be my sister Karina. Shout out again. She tuned us in to Dave Ramsey years ago, and then now that we finally listened to her, she's also very curious on where we're at, how we're doing. So it's really good to have support like that.
Yep.
At one point, I was working 60, 70 hours a week, so it was good to know that I had help and support here at home.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to our parents, because on those crazy busy weeks, working 60, 70 hours, we definitely had both of our parents support as much as they could from out of town.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Also, a little shout out to one of my other friends, my coworker, Kelsey Brown. So she would feel a little bad for me with my leftover beans and rice. So once in a while, she'd slip me in a runza and totally treat me and spoil me. And so that was really nice of her. And every single time she did it, she said, I'm just so excited for you. I just want to see you succeed. I'm so excited for you and Mario. And so
those people who see struggle,
that was really helpful.
Yeah, you the real MVP. One of my motivators was seeing how another person got inspired by what we were doing. That was nice. I did have one person who didn't think that what we were doing was smart, completely getting rid of the credit cards because, you know, emergencies happen, and that person really believed that we needed credit cards, or at least needed them open just in case something happened and we can take care of it. And I understand that point for sure. It is hard to get over that idea, but really my biggest motivation was seeing another person being influenced by what we were doing, and they were pretty surprised that what our goal was and how far we've come along in that goal. And that person was like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. And that person's Chris. So Chris, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man. You say that I motivate you, but really you did the same thing for me too. You motivated me. That
was also inspiring for me, is when I would get messages or different responding of, oh my goodness, I've also gotten debt free, or I've also started my budget, or oh my goodness, this Dave Ramsey guy, I think I have his book hiding in my closet. And so just inspiring other people has been so helpful. One big spotlight I'd like to make as well is one of my cousins who is just now graduating high school. Last time I visited, looked at me and said, hey, I watched your video and I saved my first $1,000. And that just made my heart so happy, because when I was graduating high school, I was spending my money on food and clothes, and I have no idea what else. It just burned right through my hands. And so to see a 17-year-old's life just changed around completely, grasping the concept of money and how to spend it, how to save it, how to invest it is just, it's amazing and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
So we hope our debt-free journey has inspired you as well. And if you do have a story you want to share with us, or let us know how you're doing, or let us know what's hard for you at the moment, we love hearing the stories because it reminds us of why we're inspired so much to begin with. And we look forward to hearing your stories, your advice, your comments. Here is my crazy hair bugaboo. And honestly, these little children are the reason we do it too. We want a better future for them, a future we could not even possibly imagine at this moment, because it is so much bigger than us and so much bigger than this moment.
Get in the frame, Noah. Come here.
We will definitely...
We're going to do the debt-free scream.
Come here, buddy.
We're going to do it in front of the camera.
Don't forget the comments.
Come here.
Get in the frame.
You can say, don't forget to comment.
Come on. Don't step on that, because that will electrocute you. Come on. You're going to be right here.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna do the debt-free scream with me.
We did not plan out this debt-free scream, so we're all kind of a mess. But now that we're here in front of the camera, we want to do our debt-free scream, because these kids have sacrificed so much, and they've heard the word no a lot. So, Vivian, come here.
You can
3.
do this. Come on.
We're going to go ahead and do that. Noah, you want to count us down?
Yes.
Okay.
1.
No.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Yay! Confetti falls.
Woo! And Martha's place goes crazy.
And no shout out!